Buongiorno, St. Francis, and buongiorno, people of God. It is Wednesday, the 17th day of April 2024. It is Wednesday, the third week of Easter. It is the 18th day of the Easter season, and this is my final reflection from Italy for now, for the present. So I'm in Fiumicino. I'm in very early in the morning. I'm one of the earliest ones to take the flight out today, but it's been delayed anyway. So basically, I have to wait around until everyone else gets here. I think probably leave the same time that they will on different flights. But it is what it is. But Terminal 3, the E concourse in Fiumicino is very, very nice. And so it's a nice place to kind of be in if you have to wait around for a while. But today's training, so it's been a whirlwind of activities and everything else like that these past 2 days in Rome and Assisi. But today's readings on this Wednesday of the third week of Easter, the apostles or the disciples, the believers, have gone to bury Stephen, again with loud laments, but that does not stop them proclaiming what needs to be proclaimed. And again, the defeat that the early church experienced was widespread. And again, this passage from Acts begins with a widespread persecution of Christians throughout all of Jerusalem. Again, how widespread that might have been may be conjecture, but again, the Sanhedrin, the authorities, did not like what the Christians were preaching, because it was the opposite of what they had been preaching. And again, their antagonism towards Jesus is now given, unfortunately, over to them. And again, Saul is the one who basically leads the strongest kinds of persecutions, going from house to house, it says, trying to get Christians and bring them, to justice and in the eyes of the Sanhedrin. Again, this is the reality between infant baptism and adult baptism. Infants may have been baptized in the early church, but perhaps was not the norm because of the danger that would be involved in baptizing infants. You baptized an adult, fully aware of what he or she may be in store for in becoming a believer in this world at the time in which they were living. And so, again, the severity of belief and the necessity of knowing a fully informed adult belief to bring one into this Christian community, which is again why initiation is so connected with the Easter season, because the courage and strength to believe in the one who was risen enables those to face whatever hardships or persecutions or ups and downs a life of faith might unfortunately present before them, allowing them to continue to succeed, continue to move forward in what it is that they have been called to do by God in becoming a believer in this world. The Philip gets mentioned again, going I forget where he goes, but where he preaches, he brings many people into the faith because they see the signs and wonders that he does. And again, of all people, again, Philip, who kind of is mentioned here, there in the Gospels everywhere, but again gets this special notice within Acts. He must have had a connection to Luke and a special relationship with Luke to be remembered in such a way at this point in Acts. In the Gospel itself, again, Jesus is continuing the bread of life discourse, reiterating again that he is the bread of life, and that he comes because he is trying to bring all people to himself, trying to bring all people to back to God again, and this whole idea about not losing anyone that God has given him. And to who does God, who are the ones that God gives to Christ? Well, everyone, because everything belongs to Christ. Everything is a part of Christ, because Christ is the one through whom the world was created. Again, the beginning of John's Gospel, the Word through whom God created, all things therefore belong to him. And so so Christ basically will not lose anyone or anything. An important reality for us to emphasize always in this Easter season is that the victory of Christ over sin and darkness and death basically means that nothing can ever be lost. In fact, nothing has ever been lost. It's just us beginning to realize that and trying again to believe it a little bit more. To think of a God, who wants to punish, a God who wants to torment, a God who wants to cut people out of this life of God is in many ways absurd and ridiculous. Again, if we listen to what it is that Jesus is saying in John 6, everything belongs to Christ. Everything, and because of that, nothing can ever be lost. People can live lives of hope, lives of peace, lives of wonder, because of what it is that God has given them in Christ, and because of their connection with Christ. Even if they don't recognize it, even if they don't see it, even if they don't acknowledge it, they still belong to Christ, which again is another sign of hope, of wonder, and of peace in this world. A continued blessed Easter, St. Francis and people of God. Arrivederci, Roma, and may the Lord give you his peace.